Berlin Wall was put up on August 16th, 1961.
The wall divided Eastern and Western Berlin. It divided everybody up, and people that had family on the other side couldn't see them anymore.
The wall caused many families to have new lives and not live the same way.
The wall was 12 feet high and stretched all along Germany.
Now take a look at this clip and notice how sad some were and how desperate others were to see their friends and families again.
And it was all put into order by this guy, Nikita Khrushchev.
Nikita Khrushchev was born on April 15, 1894, and later became a premier of the Soviet Union in November 1958. Imagine being born in a society where everyone's divided and things aren't normal. That's exactly what it was like for Sabina Kadis.
My name is Sabina Kadis, and I was born in 1973 in Western Germany.
How was the wall, do you think, affecting Germany?
The wall affected Germany a lot. What used to be one big country was suddenly divided, and I know of families that were divided in one day when the Eastern forces started putting the wall up, and they had to make a really quick decision on where they wanted to live, because back then nobody knew what was going to happen and how long that wall was going to be there.
And also, what was it like how did it change your laws and your things that you could do and could not do?
Well, the people in Eastern Germany were affected greatly. They were not allowed to travel anymore. They were locked into their country. They were not allowed to cross the border. A lot of people tried to escape and they got killed. Some of them made it, not many, but people were very desperate because they were not allowed to openly say their opinion. They had no goods that they needed and wanted in life. The Germans keep joking about that nobody had bananas in Eastern Germany, because those would have been imported, but they didn't import anything.
And also, what was it like in Eastern Germany, do you think, that people would feel about stepping outside and saying hello to their neighbors?
Growing up, my mother had a pen pal in Eastern Germany. So as a child, I remember visiting the city of Erfurt in Eastern Germany, and we spent the weekend there. As a child, I didn't know, but my parents were talking about it a lot at the time. This family that invited us over, they had to trade a lot of rations and stuff that they owned in order to buy a piece of meat so that they could cook a nice dinner for us, because there was no meat. So they had to barter and know a lot of people that knew a lot of people, so they would get a piece of meat. I mean, imagine that. We can't imagine that. And no, they were not able to talk to their neighbors openly. If you favored the West, and if you liked what the US and Germany or Western Germany were doing, you were in big trouble, and there were lots of spies, and you didn't know whether your neighbor was one of them or not.
Okay, thank you.
Behind me stands a wall that encircles the free sectors of this city, part of a vast system of barriers that divides the entire continent of Europe. From the Baltic south, those barriers cut across Germany in a gash of barbed wire, concrete, dog runs, and guard towers. Farther south, there may be no visible, no obvious wall, but there remain armed guards and checkpoints all the same. Still a restriction on the right to travel. Still an instrument to impose upon ordinary men and women the will of a totalitarian state. Yet it is here in Berlin where the wall emerges most clearly. Here, cutting across your city, where the news photo and the television screen have imprinted this brutal division of a continent upon the mind of the world. Standing before the Brandenburg Gate, every man is a German, separated from his fellow men. Every man is a Berliner, forced to look upon a scar. President von Weizsäcker has said the German question is open as long as the Brandenburg Gate is closed. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.